Welcome to the Mindfuckery Podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth, a trauma healer, author, founder of the Inner Healing Sanctuary. This show has been recognised by FeedSpot as one of the top emotional abuse podcasts worldwide and number 3 in the UK domestic violence category. It's also featured in million podcasts among the best on narcissistic abuse, coercive control and complex trauma. Here we go deeper, clearing emotional and ancestral wounds, breaking cycles of shame, abandonment and betrayal, and reclaiming every part of you, because it stops here, it stops now, and it stops with us. And that has always been one of my biggest themes, is taking that trauma, transforming it, and not only doing it for ourselves, for you, but for the generations that have been before us that have experienced something similar or a repeating pattern that's appeared in your life, but also for the generations ahead. And this links into the work that I do with the ancestral wounding and the past life work that I've done. I believe that we have come here with lots of different things going on, repeating patterns. And I truly believe, and this might be not what you're ready to hear at the moment, but I really do believe that these relationships are like a mirror, or they have come to teach you a lesson, but not just a lesson, to show you this wounding, to open it up for you to see where you need to heal. It's like a light being shone down on you. And when I separated, I knew my marriage was breaking down. Right towards the end, maybe 3 or 4 weeks before, we went through this stage. I was like, what are we going to do? Are we separating? Are we staying together? We're going to try and work this out. And I got met with like a blank stare. At one point, well, actually I said it multiple times, I thanked him for breaking me open and allowing the light to come in. And it was so powerful. For me, that is exactly how I felt. I felt that I had been broken open intentionally. The light coming in is able to shine on that element, or multiple elements, multiple wounds, and that's exactly what it did. I was already in the healing field for many, many years, a few decades, and working with energy, vibration, healing, past life healing, this life healing, but it didn't give me the space that I needed. I wasn't able to hold space. I needed other people to help me. I was able to unpick things myself, and one of the statements, there's a few that I made right at the beginning, were, one, I never wanted anyone to experience what I was going through ever again. And it took me a while to realise that that possibly was a big ask, because in a way I see these patterns and these characters, because they are characters, that's all they are. They're characters in your life. I see them with this role of opening up. Very, very special people. Honestly believe that what you experience going through emotionally abusive relationships, whether that's romantic, whether that's something that happened in childhood, whether that's something that's happening in your workplace, these people are there as a guide. Where does it hurt within you? What is it triggering? And even further, going back and saying, how old am I responding? What is it making me feel like? Is it making me feel like a child? I want to guide you to this freedom that is beyond the trauma. And the Mindfuckery Podcast over the last 3 years, I think it is. Oh gosh, is it longer than that? No, I think it's 3 years. Has spoken about emotional abuse, recovering from narcissistic abuse. I think I've spoken about the mother wounds and maybe the father wounds, the patterns, the terms, the terminology, the confusion, healing, meditations. And I've done the same with my YouTube channel as well. If you want to see where you are in your recovery, or you want help with your recovery, I've got so many resources on my website, the Inner Healing Sanctuary. Oh, actually it's not. It's innerhealingsanctuary.co.uk. you can download a roadmap which has got lots of different links. The Start Here roadmap is more of the grounding, being in the body type meditations and guidance. The next roadmap is Next Stop, and that goes a little bit deeper with links to workbooks that I've created for you and more guided meditations and courses. What I found personally and working with clients is that if you're coming out of a narcissistic or emotionally abusive relationship, for instance, it's normal to want somebody else to take that from you and to fix it for you, to take the pain away, to sort it out. And it's as if a child has stepped into your life and is taking over running it. That's actually what I experienced myself. I realised that I had a 3-year-old running my life. She was doing everything for me, from finances to work, literally everything. Once you've started to calm down the nervous system and to come into your body, you can start to look at the situation in a different way, particularly if you've been in that situation where you've been in an abusive relationship and you're freshly out of it. And for those who are further along, you might recognise this pattern. You can't think, your brain was trained, so what you thought was real was a lie, and what you thought was a lie was really the truth. Everything's been flipped. The script has been flipped. Everything has been challenged for you. I talk about 5 pillars. I talk about financial, emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual health. That spiritual health is getting you to question your morals, question everything that you held, every belief you had. And coming out of that relationship at that point, you really don't know what to believe. They might still be on the edge of your life, peripheral of your life, particularly if you've got children, contradicting everything. They don't like thinking that they're the bad person in this scenario. They really, really don't like to be thought of in bad light. And even if they say, I don't care, they actually do, because ultimately inside that person at the core is a wounded child, a child that possibly never broke away from their mother. They didn't go through the crucial stages that a child needs to become independent. They have no sense of self. So everything they do, and this includes moving on to the next person, they learn, they look, they watch, they learn, they take on, they mirror back. And this is why, particularly coming out of these relationships, at the beginning, you're broken and on the floor, and they look whole. They look like they've got it together. They've taken everything from you and they're moving on and they're playing another role. And this is another reason that you don't recognise them, because they're playing the role that the next person needs them to play. And this is why I'm saying they're the character in your life. They played a character. They found out who you wanted and they played that character. So that stage really hurts. That stage of wanting somebody to take the pain away really hurts. And being in your body and grounding is very possibly best gift that you could give. Going no contact if you can, not listening, not having them dive into an email, a text message, a WhatsApp message, Facebook Messenger, whatever else that they are able to get hold of you and tell you how much they miss you or whatever they weave in. You need that time. Your nervous system needs that time. Your brain needs that time. There's damage to the hippocampus, and I've spoken about this on YouTube and on this podcast, in my book. The healing needs to begin, and all the time that they're still in contact with you, you're not healing. They're hijacking your thoughts and your emotions. One great tip that I've heard recently from a few people is they take a message that they receive either via WhatsApp or an email or whatever, and they put it into ChatGPT. It's an AI tool, and they ask Chat to analyze it for them, and it comes back and it tells them that there's gaslighting or there's whatever it is that's going on in that situation, and it helps you validate yourself, because they have been hijacking your life and they have been telling you that they are right and you're wrong, or they are right and everybody around you is wrong, to the point that you're really confused. So that is the bit that hurts. The key bit to remember here is this cracking open, this light shining in and guiding you to the pain, to the wounds. This is a journey, and you can get to a point and you're at a crossroads and you can turn left or right or go ahead. And you might decide you've done enough work, the pain has resolved. You might decide that turning right, you've met someone and you can move on. And turning left might be, I don't know, something else. Or you can move forward on your journey of healing. And you can get further along the road and exactly the same happens. Turn left, turn right. I've met thousands and thousands of people that have been in narcissistic or emotionally abusive relationships or are coming out of it. They might be trying to work their way out. They're looking for support, etc. For some, taking that right turn or left turn and either getting into a relationship or finding a way of reducing the pain, the wounds that come up for people are over self-worth and not being good enough. If this person's moved on, all they've done in your relationship is told you how unworthy you are to be in a relationship with them, your self-worth is on the floor. Again, it's using this light to see where this pain is, who's reacting, and how am I dealing with this? What is it that I really, really want? And this is the work that I do, original wound. This takes you back to find out where the wounding started, because it won't be in that relationship. As I said, these people play characters. They're here to guide you, to shine a light on your wounds. There isn't anyone that can take this pain away from you but yourself. But I remember so clearly feeling like that. I wish somebody could take this away. I wish somebody could heal me. And I tried everything. This is part of survival, but this is not the place that the transformation is going to happen. And it might not be the transformation that you're looking for. You might just be looking to get out of pain. Where it works really well is at the point where you've moved beyond wanting to be rescued and you're really looking for transformation. Like grief, you can drop in and out. You can do that with this as well. And there is a huge element of grief that goes with these relationships. But it's when you're ready to start taking responsibility for your own healing. That is the most powerful point. That's the turning point. That's the transformational point. And you'll find loads and loads of resources, as I said, within the Mindfuckery Podcast, on YouTube. There's a few bits on TikTok. My book, The A to Z of Emotional Abuse. I mean, I literally wrote that because I was trying to understand what was going on. I started to see things and I thought, oh my gosh, that resonates. So it's like you're describing my ex-husband. That is like you're describing what I'm experiencing, but some of the words I didn't understand. And as a side note, one of the very first videos I saw, I was listening to this woman talking about her ex and the latest drama that had unfolded, and she turned around and she said, it's mindfuckery, it's mindfuckery. And I thought, oh my god, I've saved it somewhere, I don't know where it is now, because one, she described to a T exactly what had gone on in my life, but I thought, yeah, it is mindfuckery. And years later, that was the word that I used for this podcast, because it is mindfuckery. Whether you had it in your childhood, whether you have it in your workplace, whether you have it in other relationships as well, it's mindfuckery. Somebody is playing with you and they've worked and done it so cleverly. It's now time to unpick it. It's freedom beyond trauma, that journey, that soul calling for what's next. And how do I fulfill? Because as I said, I honestly believe these people landed in front of you for a reason, to wake you up, to help you heal, to help you heal your family line. But also remember, other people see you and how you've dealt with it. I don't deal with it at all well, and I didn't handle myself particularly well either, I don't believe. But you're a guiding light, and it's whether you take that baton, I don't know another word for it, become the beacon. But other people seeing you healing on this journey is inspirational. By helping people and saying and validating and seeing and hearing them are the change. They're the change for their ancestral line. They're the change for their family line. The changes that you make within yourself, people will see. As I said in many podcasts, welcome along for the journey of a lifetime, because this is a calling for you to jump on that train, jump on that bus, jump in that car, on the plane, wherever it is, the boat, and take that journey. Allow the light in. We are vibrational beings. And the vibration that is coming from you can get stronger, higher frequency, make you sing from your heart. Your heart sings and your soul sings. Your body tingles in the right way, not in the wrong way. So depending on where you are on your journey, there are loads of resources, and there are meditations. There's my books, Finding Lily. That was written on a beach in Greece in 2016 as my marriage was breaking down. That was was partly a catalyst for change as well, because as I was writing it, something had happened 20 odd years before. I started to see the patterns in the relationship, the characters very similar, completely different looking at them, and they were different people, but they still played a similar role. Then I wrote the A to Z of emotional abuse, and I thought, well, if I don't understand these words, if I don't understand these terms, there must be other people out there that don't. So that's what I started to do. I compiled a list of different terms, and at the same time I put it into an article which published on Thrive Global, and I started posting on Instagram. A is for abusive cycles and things like that. Someone reached out and said, I hope this is your next book. And I thought, wow, what a great idea. So it literally is like a dictionary. It gives you the insight into what these terms are, but also how it feels and what it feels like. I think it validates in a way. But as with everything, with all the books that I do, in the back I've put some healing practices in there to help you. Yeah, so it's a complete process. I also speak about what if this did happen for a reason? What if this relationship was here to show you and guide you and break you open, to let the light in? And also ask the question, what if this was a mirror? This person's mirroring back how amazing you are, because they take on your personality and your traits, and they're showing you something that you can't see within you. I've also written a book called Divorce Matters, because I talk about divorcing emotionally from the abuser, and a lot of people were coming into my group for divorce advice. So I actually wrote this book, as I think it's quite amazing. It's broken into 5 different categories, which are the emotional and the physical and the mental. It talks about assets and things like that. It gives you ways of negotiating through your divorce. It also helps you with a parenting plan if you've got children. It helps you look at assets and think about where money might be hidden. And there's also in there a budget planning form. Again, in there are loads of different tools to heal. And I was talking to a divorce specialist, and I showed her, and she said, oh my gosh, it's amazing. You can document a whole process. And then I've also published another book, which is a diary called The Balanced Journey. And that pulls in lots and lots of different practices, spiritual practices with journaling, and I use Bhagavad to help with goal setting, and there's lots of different things in there. So there's a practicality, but also a spiritual element. This is about raising your vibration. This is about healing deep within, and it is so magical. And it sounds dark and it sounds heavy, but it isn't. It's absolutely magical. It's like you can breathe. It's like you can think. And I know I've had damage to my hippocampus. I finally feel that I've reclaimed some of that back. I've woken and shaken up the seahorse within me. I want nothing more for everybody to go on a spiritual journey. And I know that's an impossible task, but there will be some of you that will have an inner calling, that will feel within them this is the route they want to take. Some will walk along that path and there'll be crossroads. And at that point, they might have done enough and never experience anything like this again. Others, they move on a bit further, and that's when their crossroads comes. And I said, wherever you are on this journey, there are resources for you. I will put some links to my YouTube channel, to my TikTok channel, to my website, so you can download some free resources. I'll put the links to the roadmap so you can dive in, and they've got links directly into different videos. It makes it a lot easier to find stuff. So as I said, there's resources for everyone, wherever you are on the journey. The roadmaps are probably a great place to start. And as always, I'm sending you loads and loads of love until next time. If your whole being whispers enough, then you're ready. The next step is simple. Book a soul alignment call. I will attune to your field, sense what's going on, what's alive for you, and map where your healing begins.